All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are going to be looking. Today we're going to be doing a study stream, but we're going to be looking into a library called Faker. So I found the Python version of this library, but apparently it's a thing in a bunch of other languages as well. So I think it was in the last stream. I believe it was in the last stream because I've been looking for ways to generate random data because I have this I've made a set of data analysis and data visualization tools for to help out one of my family members with their business, and I needed their business data, their business sales data, so that, of course, so that I could visualize it and analyze it and stuff. But I kind of want to show those tools on stream as well. Give me a second. Let me just adjust my mic. Okay, so I I want to show those tools on stream as well, but I cannot show the data, and I actually don't want to show the data set. I don't want to use that real data set on stream. So instead, the idea that I came up with is to somehow generate fake data, or at the very least substitute the data that's in the original data set with fake values. So fake customer names, fake item names, fake quantities, fake rates, and of course fake values, because quantity multiplied by rate is the value, right? Also fake dates if necessary. I'm gonna have to see. And I was coming up with different ways to generate the fake data. I looked into this. The idea that I had was to I actually had a couple of ideas. One of them was to use some kind of lookup table and, like, pick values from that. So I would probably ask an LLM to generate the data. Another idea I had was to use an NLP library, and we looked into that last stream. Somehow, during my research, the Faker library didn't come up. I don't know if I just didn't look long enough, because I don't know. I don't remember if I looked long enough. I don't remember if my research involved looking for a library to generate fake data. I think I was looking for more specific terms, because I remember looking up how to generate fake data using NLP. I don't know. I don't remember what the or well, I don't know what the issue was, what the reason was why I didn't find Faker in my searches, but eventually I did find it. I think I found it. Yeah, I found it through I found it by asking an LLM. So I basically asked Gemini, Google Gemini, to generate a list, or I think it was one of the models that's available through Perplexity. It was one of the Llama models, I think. I don't remember. It was either one of these. And usually what these things do is, if you ask them to do something that requires code, then they'll show you the code, and then they'll run that code and show you the result, which is great. So in this case, it did exactly that. And that's when I saw the word Faker. And then I looked it up and I was like, holy shit, dude. Okay, let's look into this library. I don't know if I'd found Faker before before my previous stream ended. My previous stream was, I think, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I don't know. I don't remember if I had found Faker at that point, but I found it. I found it soon after, like very soon after. And I was super happy with that. So okay, let's look into Faker. I think, dude, okay, now I'm curious. Did I find this library towards the end of my last stream or not? I need to look into this because I am super curious. I have my previous VOD here. My last stream was only half an hour. I remember that. Yep. It was only half an hour because I had to abruptly end the stream, but I did find data. I was also looking into multi-indexing, which I still need to carry on. I'm going to carry on doing that. Um, all right, so looking at my previous VOD, it seems like I did stop at NLTK, which is a natural language toolkit. And I think shortly after that, I found Faker. Okay, so the great thing about Faker, let me just read the brochure for you guys, because I think the brochure, quote unquote, in this case would do it much more justice. So, Faker is a Python package that generates fake data for you. Whether you need to bootstrap your database, create good-looking XML documents, fill in your persistence to stress test, or anonymize data taken from a production service, Faker is for you. And I'm glad that they mentioned this last use case because this is exactly my use case. Anonymizing data taken from a production service. Because I can't use the original data set. I don't want to use the original data set. At least when I'm showing it on stream, I don't want to use the original data set. So I want to generate a fake data set, or at least find a way to make that data set fake. There are certain aspects of it that I can leave in. Certain things like, I don't know, I guess we can say dates. We can leave the dates in. Customer names definitely have to change. Item names definitely have to change. Quantities and rates and, well, value also has to change, but the value is just quantity multiplied by rate. So, that I don't need to change the value. The value is automatically. Actually, I don't think I'm noting down the value, am I? No, no, no. I think I am. Yeah, I think I am. Though I think I was calculating the value from the quantity and rate anyways, at least during the data generation process, or during the data set generation process. Anyways, Faker is great. So, a little demo. I've been using this for 2 or 3 days. There's still quite a bit for me to learn, but in this little experience that I've gotten, I feel like I can make a short demo. So check this out. Oh, this also introduced me to the concept of locales, because locales is something that it basically has to do with localization, localizing data to whatever region you want. Because in each region, the data is going to be kind of different because the language is different, the culture is different. So there tend to be differences in the kinds of data you would find in different regions, and locales kind of help you with that. Locales is one of those things that you kind of see it all the time, but like you don't necessarily think about it too much until you actually have to use it, until you actually have to do some kind of localization yourself. And fortunately, in I think almost every language, I'm not going to say almost every, but like actually no, almost every is probably a better thing to say than just every. So in almost every language, you do have tools that help you deal with localization related stuff. Okay, so the reason I'm mentioning locales is because Faker allows you to generate local. Let me start that again because for some reason I don't know what just happened. Faker lets you generate localized fake data, localized random data. It's not limited to just English and the US. There's a couple of different languages and there's a couple of different countries that you can use. I'll show some examples. So, okay, let's get rid of a bunch of this code. Okay, so I'm still I'll talk about this part in a bit. You know what? Maybe I can just start up a new cell instead of erasing this data. But this providers thing, I'm not entirely sure we need it at this point. I'm not entirely sure if it's even used at this point because the code mentions using it, or the code mentions explicitly needing to import this, just as an example, explicitly needing to import this, and then so these are providers. The providers are what basically give you the different types of random data. The providers are what are used to create different types of random data. So the examples, they mention importing, let's say, this provider, company provider, and then using the add provider method to basically add that provider into this fake instance, right? This instance of the faker class. But I've found that I don't need to do it. Like, even if I don't do it, I'm still able to access the methods that I need to access. So I don't know if there's like a default implementation already. Like by default, they've already been added. And if by default they're already being added, then I'm not entirely sure why the example tells us that, you have to add this. I'm not sure what's going on there because there's still a lot for me to explore in Faker, especially stuff like custom implementations and dynamic providers. I still need to look into that. I still need to understand the concept of providers and generators in Faker specifically. Another thing that I think might be adding to my confusion is the fact that Faker, I believe in one of its previous versions, its implementation was a little bit different. And then they upgraded at some point and they changed things up for the better because they were adding new features and stuff. And then there was a bit of a difference between the way things were done in the old version and then the way things were done in the new version. And so in order to fix that issue, they made a proxy class to sort of handle those differences. This thing explains it pretty well. You don't need to take my fumbling word for it. Where is it? Was it compatibility? No, it wasn't. Localization. There was a page dedicated to this specifically. I think it's this, using the faker class. So if you look at this page, this page explains the thing about like how things were done in one of the previous versions, and then at some point they implemented they had a change, and that kind of changed the API a little bit. And so in order to make that transition a bit smoother and not break a bunch of things, they had to introduce a proxy class. And so now this is how they're doing things. I feel like this might be contributing, or well, the fact that I haven't fully understood what this means, it might be contributing to why I don't fully understand the concept of providers and generators. But to be fair, I've only been studying this library for, I don't know, 2-3 days now, on and off, not like, completely, but like on and off. So I just need some time. And hold on, what is going on here? Oh God, why did it go to this? I'd hit the shuffle button. It didn't shuffle. I forgot to turn off autoplay. Wait, is that what happened, or was it some? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, Hopefully it's going to shuffle to something else after this. Okay, so yeah, I need to understand the idea behind generators and providers. So far, all I've understood is that the different types of providers give you the different features, the different, like let's say generating a random name or generating a random um, a random bank account number. Like for each of these things, there's different providers. So I need to look more into that. But okay, I was going to show you a small demo. So I'm going to create a new cell here. So here we can do from, what is it? From faker, import faker. I think I did that right. And then let's create a variable called fake. This is going to be an instance of faker. And if you don't, so okay, in this instance, when you're initializing the faker class, you are able to specify either one locale or a list of locales that'll be used. And that list of locales is going to, it's going to, it's going to affect the randomly generated data. So for example, okay, hold on. By default, the faker thing's default implementation takes in or it assumes enus. So that's like the default locale that gets used. So I can then do something like faker dot, I think name is, or fake dot, I think name is the method name. Yeah. So this is going to generate a random name for us. Let me just run that. Okay, there you go. So this is one name, then there's another name, and another name, and another name. So the great thing here is I could, for example, create a variable, and I could use list comprehension and generate, let's say, fake name for x in range 10. And then I could print out this list. So this is our list of names. 10 names, 20 names, 50 names, 100 names. There's also a thing that stops duplicate names from being generated. So it's always, the names are always going to be unique. Like that's another thing that this library takes care of. I showed you name. We can try addresses. By the way, just putting this out there, you know, for the sake of TOS, these are fake addresses. This is not, none of this is real. These are just fake addresses being generated. There you go. A bunch of, again, fake addresses being generated. What else? There's a bunch of others. Like if you take a look at the providers, that'll give you some ideas. Also, the great thing is that this library accepts community created providers. So some people have created providers for various other purposes. One of the providers that I saw, which I don't know if it's a part of the official Faker library or not, because I haven't looked into situations where I have to download other Faker, no, other providers. I'm going to look into that as well, because this thing allows, this library allows community created providers as well. And they have, there was a page that shows, where was it? Actually, I should read this entire thing, because like this goes into various things like how to even create your own provider. I'm using already created providers. There's also the concept of dynamic providers, which I need to look into this as well, because you know maybe I could use it for something. Factory Boy seems like something from I feel I could be wrong here, but I feel like factory boy or factory is something to do with an old implementation of Faker. I don't know if I'm wrong about that. I guess I'll find out later. But I feel like this has something to do with the old implementation of Faker. Okay. When using Faker for unit testing, you will often want to generate the same data. For convenience, the generator also provides a seed method, which sees. Dude, that's convenient. Holy shit. Okay, so that way you can provide it with a seed, and each time it's going to give you the same values. A seed produces the same result when the same methods with the same version of Faker are called. Okay, so let's test this out. Okay, so let's do fake dot, hold on. Wait, this is interesting. So this is faker dot seed. So I'm doing something with so this is a static method that I'm calling. This is not this is not an instance method that I'm calling. Okay, faker dot seed, let's say 1000. Okay, so let's generate that. Actually, there's too much data here. Let me just generate names. All right, so we have this, and then this. Oh wow, dude! It generates the same data each time. That's crazy. That is actually useful. Dude, believe it or not, I didn't look into this specific thing, the unique thing and the seed thing and all. I've seen the seed method popping up everywhere, but I didn't really look into it. But yeah, that's convenient. Okay. Uh, what more? Yeah, I was about to show something. So this mentions the providers and then there's community providers. They also have the concept of localized providers, which I found really helpful because something is so something I noticed that can be a bit confusing with Faker is it's going to provide you. So let's say you've created an instance of the Faker class, right? It's going to give you all of these methods, right? But not all of the methods work right out of the box. Let's say, for example, Aadhaar ID. Aadhaar card it's a thing in India. It's similar to it's basically their ID card, and there's like a bunch of information attached to it, right? So that's Aadhaar ID. I guess that's their version of your ID number. So when I run this, and dude, it took me some time to understand what was going on here. It says your generator object has no attribute Aadhaar ID. I later found out that this kind of has to do with the locale that's being used. And by default, the locale that's used is ENUS, so that's English US, and the US doesn't have Aadhaar ID. So Aadhaar ID is not really a part of that locale. So instead, if I provide a locale list here, let's say locales equals ENUS and EN India, so ENIN, and then I specify here locale equals locales, and then I run this. Now it works. Another way to do what I just did, if you wanna get like if you want to call methods on a specific locale, you can then do it this way. So assuming you have passed in the appropriate locale while initializing the class, you can then do something like this and call Aadhaar ID. And then that works. Now, if I do the same thing, if I try to do the same thing with ENUS, that throws an error because generator object has no attribute Aadhaar ID. So this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to understand the idea with actually, I think at this point I need to understand the idea with generators in Python itself, in Python as a whole, because I feel like that would probably give me a better understanding of what's going on here. So I need to understand generators in both Python and Faker, and what's the other thing called? Providers, and providers in Faker. I'm going to be doing some research on this. I feel like I'm going to be using this library quite a bit because, dude, this is incredibly useful. There's so many different things that you can do with this. There's so many different types of data sets that you can generate. And I want to spend some time generating data sets with this. Because I want to make data sets that are going to be useful for like data sets that kind of seem like real world data sets. And like I mean, of course, mainly for my purpose, but like I wouldn't mind sharing it online because they're fake data sets anyways, right? So if it helps somebody else, then like I'm happy to share it online. Actually, what I'll do is I'll share the code so people can generate their own. I don't need to share the data set. I can share the code and then people can put in whatever seed they want and generate their own unique data set. That's an idea, dude. I should definitely do that. I mean, I have that idea. I have that idea right now. I'm pretty sure other people have had that idea as well, but I'm still gonna do it. At some point later, I'm gonna make a TikTok video about this as well, dude. I've started making videos again, and I'm happy about that. It's a lot of different types of things. Like recently, I made a little music box composition. I posted that on TikTok and on my second YouTube channel. I've also been doing like these short yap session videos, and I've been posting that as well on TikTok and also on my YouTube channel, my second YouTube channel. And it's been fun, dude, because it got me back into the habit of using using video editing programs. In this specific situation, it is or well, now it's not in this specific situation. Now, these days I'm using DaVinci Resolve. Previously I was using HitFilm, and prior to that I was using, I don't even remember the name, dude. There was a program. I can't remember the name of it. Something to do with fire, maybe? I don't remember. I had to stop using that program because one of their updates that they released, and this was like way back, this was like years ago. One of the updates that they released, it, for whatever reason, randomly it would cause a memory leak, and that memory leak, it would like build up really quick, and eventually the system would just freeze whenever that would happen. So at that point the program just became unusable for me. So rather than waiting for them to release a patch for it, which I had no idea if they were even going to do it or not, I just switched to a different program. So yeah, I was using HitFilm for some time, and then I stopped using it, and now years later, when I needed another program, but when I needed to get into video editing again, I was like, dude, let's try some other program. And a bunch of people were recommending DaVinci Resolve, which is great, dude. Like DaVinci Resolve is wow. It's fucking like it's amazing. It's like you get a whole bunch of features for free. That's crazy. That is insane. You get like a full-fledged video editing program for free. It's crazy. Okay. In 10 seconds, there's going to be an ad playing, so I'm going to start the ad right now, and I'll see you guys in 30 seconds. All right. Welcome back. Before I get into it, I need to do something else. Okay, so here I'm supposed to do streamlit run app.py. Okay, what was I saying? Dude, I wanted to share this thing earlier today. This was cool because like I had this problem that I had to solve, and instead of spending time trying to figure out trying to figure out the logic for a bunch of things from scratch, I was like, okay, let me try to use NumPy for this because NumPy is meant for dealing with arrays of data, right? And NumPy also has a bunch of various methods that can help you operate on arrays of data in a more optimized way. So I did that. I didn't really need the optimization in this case. I just needed the convenience that NumPy offers because it has a bunch of the methods already implemented for you. So anyways, okay, so I was earlier today I was sorting my resistors because I do hobby electronic stuff, so I have like a bunch of electronic components. And recently I had ordered a box of assorted resistors. Actually, it wasn't recently. I think I've had these like, I mean, I ordered it. It's still fairly recent, but it was like maybe 2 months ago. One, two. I think it was 2 months ago. The package arrived 2 months ago, and it was in its own like plastic box. There were, I think, 22 different values. I don't remember what the count was. There were 22, or let's say around 20 to 25 different values, right? And they were all like nicely bunched up and put into this cute little box because they fit in there the way that the whole thing was packaged. But I wanted to separate them. I wanted to put that because I have a couple of like boxes lying around. I have like these slotted boxes that you get. I don't know what you call them, but like people who do a lot of like craft stuff, people who do a lot of like maker related stuff, um, people who need to put small tiny pieces of things into, different slots and stuff. If they need to store those tiny things, then they use these kinds of boxes. And you get them in various different ways. Sometimes you have like one level boxes where it's one box and there's maybe, I don't know, 4 slots, 6 slots, 8 slots, something like that. And sometimes you can also remove the dividers for the slots because like with some of these boxes, the dividers they're optional. They're like removable, so you can make 2 slots into one big slot, which is super convenient. Like it's great, especially if you're doing maker stuff. So if you're building stuff, if you're doing any kind of crafts related thing, if you're basically building stuff. So it can be electronics, it can be I don't know, fuse beads, for example, or it could be um you get the point. There's a bunch of different crafts related things, right? So I have these boxes. They're great because like you can get them super cheap as well. You don't have to, in this specific instance, I don't have to give a shit about quality. I just need a box that can store things and that's not gonna fucking like break. So this works. It's great. The box that I was looking at, I happened to find the box when I was cleaning up some other stuff. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Among my other boxes, I also have this box, which I haven't touched in a while because I forgot about it. And then I looked at it and I counted the. So this was like a 3-level box. And you could take off each level, each layer. There were like clips. You could unclip it and then take off each layer. And then each layer, each level had 6 slots. So in total, I had 18 slots. So I was like, you know what? Let me sort my resistors into this. Initially, I was planning on using all 18 slots. But then I was like, okay, that seems a bit wasteful. Maybe I could do it in a different way. So initially, what I wanted to do is like, I wanted to use NumPy to divide up this thing. I was going to make one big list and then divide up the list into bins of values. And then those bins would dictate where I put which resistors. But then when I looked at it and I was like, that seems kind of wasteful. I decided to do, well, okay, the binning idea, I think it came afterwards. That wasn't like, it was still initially, but like, I think it came after the idea of like using up 18 slots. I was like, no, let's not use 18 slots. And so then I was like, okay, I have these things divided. So I created the list. I looked at all of the different resistor values that I had. I created I created a list and sorted the list, which NumPy also allows you to do it, and so does Pandas. This is what I was talking about. This is great. These are all like convenience functions. It's great. Another great thing that's available in NumPy is that you can split an array into chunks. I mean, you can still write the logic yourself if you want, but I didn't want to spend time figuring out that logic because I had some other shit to do. And yeah, it was great. It was great. Like I entered all of the values and then I sorted it and then I divided it. And after dividing it is when I got the idea for a different type of binning, a different type of division. So how I decided to do it was I decided to group them up in terms of, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and 1 million. Because those are the different values that I had. I had values that were in the tens. So stuff like, I don't know, I'm going to give out random numbers: 27, 47, 56, stuff like that, 48, those kinds of numbers. And then in the hundreds, so, whatever numbers you can think of, like, I don't know, 512, or I mean, 512 is not a resistor number, but like 540. 540 is a good one. 470 is a good one. 270 is a good one. I think 640 is one as well. Those are in the hundreds, and then you have in the thousands, and then in the 10,000s, and then the 100,000s, and then finally I had a 1 million ohm thing as well. So I decided to divide it up in that way. because that'll be, because I was also thinking about it in terms of practicality. Like I didn't want to use up too many slots, which is why I decided not to use 18 slots. But in grouping them up, I didn't want it to become inconvenient to look for resistors if I ever need them. And I feel like this method works. This method works really well. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Okay, I was doing something, and I'm gonna finish doing that something, and then I'm gonna get back to this something that we were doing. Um, I needed to open, I think it's 111. Yeah, there it is. Okay, great. All right, so yeah, yeah. I think we're good with this. There's a bunch of different types of data that you can generate with this, but I was trying to explain, and like it took me a bit to understand this as well. That um with there's a lot of different methods, but like when you're calling different methods, if there are methods that belong to a certain locale that generate data for a certain locale, you have to specify that locale in the locales list. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Though I need to look into if there's some other way to accomplish that, which is also why I want to understand the whole idea behind generators and providers and stuff. I feel like if I read this and I understand. Oh, let me also show you. So I was mentioning this thing of where is it? I was mentioning this thing of community providers. So there's a bunch of different community providers that have been well made by the community, and I think these are part of. So they have some rules here. In order to be included, your provider must satisfy these requirements. What is happening to my speech, dude? Holy shit. If you want to add your provider, if you want to add your own provider to this list, submit a pull request. So I don't know after it has been added what exactly happens, because okay, do these link to specific? So there's geoscience, there's market data. Market data is interesting. Okay, then there's microservice, there's music, something in Markdown, PySpark, and then there's a bunch of others as well. One that's not mentioned here is commerce. I'm guessing it didn't meet their requirement. There was a thing that I needed for commerce, mostly because when I looked through the list of methods, so I was trying to generate item names, but I don't think there was any method to do that. And then I had to look it up, and fortunately, somebody has made a provider for commerce related stuff, but like it doesn't seem to be a part of this official thing. So instead, something that I could do is I could just look at these and see if um, one of these providers is gonna provide me with that, because I just need like a list of item names, and I could easily substitute the item names for something else if I got it. Like if I got something that it was like it gave me the idea that I could use it. I don't know if that made sense. If I got something that suddenly gave me the idea that, oh yeah, I could use this as item names, then yeah, I'll use it. Okay, fake data from biology and life science domains for testing purposes, fake credit score data for testing purposes. Build providers based on data sets. That's interesting. Okay, public school name and info for testing purposes. Generate files with fake content. Earth sciences related fake random data generators. Fake market data. Maybe I could find something in fake market data. I don't know. Then there's microservice. Then there's posts. Something to some PySpark is interesting. I haven't like looked too deep into it. Apparently, it's not a it's not a strictly Python thing. Okay, let me look it up right now. I don't know, Spark.js. Let's look into Spark.js. Helper library for web components. Spark.js is wait. Oh yeah, it was Apache Spark. That's what I had found when I looked into this thing. And then I didn't continue looking into it. I was just like, okay, cool, I'm done. Right. So, uh, sorry, I forgot what I was trying to do. Like, what was I doing? Was it on this? It wasn't on this. Though this gives the idea of how to create. Yeah, this also mentions how to create your own provider. All right, let's look into that. So, how to create a provider. You create the Faker instance. Okay. Then you import a similar provider or use the default one. Okay. Base provider. Um, then create a new provider class and inherit from that base provider. And then you create your function. And then you can use that provider. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Now I get it. Okay. Dude, that's interesting. That's great because that makes it so you can extend the functionality of or the base functionality of this library for more complex tasks. Like you can generate your own data sets with this. That's great, dude. That's actually great. I'm probably going to be using this. Cuz like I want to try and generate a bunch of different types of data sets because I feel like it's not just going to be useful for the specific use case that I have, like that project that I'm working on, but it's also going to be useful for other data science related things. I could use real world data, but knowing how to generate fake data sets, it seems like a useful skill to have for data science related things, data visualization, data analysis, and eventually even for ML related things. Just being able to generate the fake data is super useful. All right, how to create a dynamic provider. Dynamic providers can read elements from an external source. Okay. What does that mean? Read elements from an external source. Oh, so it doesn't have to be a class. Okay, okay, now I get it. It doesn't have to be a class. Um, that's the provider name, that's the elements, and then it'll generate whatever you provided. It's going to select something from it and generate that. Okay, that's great, dude. I feel like I need to look at more detailed documentation on this. So there's this and this and this. Let's take a look at all of the. Oh God, dude. I'm fucking yawning. I'm like at the end of my day. Holy shit. Okay. So we have everything on this page. Then we have indices here. And then okay, we have this here. This is basically what I'm looking for. Contents and this and this and this. Wait, does this all point to this page? No, it points to faker class. Okay. Hold up. All right. Yeah. Where was I? Here. Okay, that's not really talking about uh wait, how to customize the lorem provider. You can provide your own set of words if you don't want to use the default lorem ipsum one. The following example shows how to do it with a list of words picked from cake ipsum. Okay. Okay, you know what? We can try implementing. So this is kind of interesting because I feel like okay, you have the dynamic provider here. With the dynamic provider, you only have one thing apparently. I need to see if there's like a different if there's a way to provide like multiple things because like we have only one thing here, like one thing here, right? We have elements, but in the case of wait, so what are you calling here? You're calling medical profession, which is what you've specified here. So could we technically specify a list? Let me look into what our dynamic provider allows. So let's do fake equals actually no fake is the thing here, right? So we'll do I don't know ABC or some dyn provider. Should I mention provider? I don't know if yeah, I should mention provider. And then we do dynamic. Hold on, do I need to do something here? From faker dot wait dot providers import dynamic provider. Okay. Import dynamic provider. And then here we do dynamic provider. And let's see what options we have. Assuming something pops up. So we have elements, we have generator, and provider name. There's no documentation popping up for the dynamic provider. Yeah, I'm not seeing any documentation with this. What if I do, okay, so we have to specify a provider name. We have elements. Let's do A, B, C. Dude, you know what? Back in the day when I was learning Python, like brand new, for whatever reason, I remember there being a thing where you could generate the alphabets as well. Like you could, so you have like list comprehension, right? There was a thing where you could also generate alphabets like A to Z. I can't remember what it was. Like there was I think Python also had this thing of like the double dot operator kind of thing, or I don't know if I'm confusing that with something else. Okay, Python generate A to Z. How to print A to Z. I can't remember if it's just, it was something to do with like range. But I cannot remember. All right, never mind. I'm not getting what I was hoping to get. Yeah, maybe I'm just remembering the thing wrong. But apparently there are a bunch of functions in the string module that can help with this, but that's not what I'm looking for. There's like back in the day, for some reason I remember we could do something like, or maybe I'm just remembering something wrong here. We could do something like this. I don't remember where this is from. I have no idea. How old is this question that I'm looking at? This is from 2013 and then edited in 2022. Okay. How to print range A to Z. Yeah, no, they're all pointing towards the string module. Generate a list of so-and-so. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, never mind. It's cool. Right, so we can do, I don't know, sum underscore dyn provider. Great. Let's do sum dyn 01. Okay. Then we can do fake.add provider. What? Oh, I have to pass in the provider. Yeah. So sum dyn provider. Great. And then I should be able to call sum underscore dyn 01. So let's see if this works. No, it doesn't work. I'm missing something here. Proxying calls to add provider is not implemented in so-and-so. So let's remove the multiple locales. Let's just do one locale. Okay, it works. We have B. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so this is a dynamic provider. Now, I was trying to see if we could... What if I pass in a list? Is that going to work? No, that doesn't work. So I don't think I can provide multiple here. However, I could provide multiple, I could create multiple providers. So I think the difference between creating the provider and, or well, just creating a provider versus creating a dynamic provider is that with creating a provider, you'd be creating a class that can have multiple methods. But with creating a dynamic provider, you are limited to one thing. Or it could just be that I haven't yet figured out how to go about attaching multiple generating things, generators to one provider. Oh, speaking of generators, I should also look into what generator in this case does. Actually, let's Google. Dude, you know what? I'm, like I mentioned earlier, I'm at the end of my day. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna raid anyone. I'm just gonna end the stream and relax and probably just go to sleep after some time. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's stream. I'll try to stream again tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna carry on looking into the Faker library. Maybe we'll just carry on doing more Faker stuff tomorrow. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.